Olá, estou ao vivo com o Greg, historiador, direto da Universidade da Califórnia, em Los Angeles. Ele vai falar sobre um livro a respeito de uma nova revisão, uma nova visão da religiosidade no Império Romano. Olá, Greg, como vai? Fique à vontade.
Tudo bem, Deodato. Olá. Hello, everybody. I'm very pleased to have a chance to speak to you about a book that's produced by myself and two colleagues from Spain, Jaime Alvar and Anton Alvar Nuño. And this is a book about the senses in Roman religion. It's called Sensorium. And what we wanted to do was to try and find a new way to approach Roman religion. Now, traditionally, people have studied the many archaeological remains, the temples, the altars, the statues, and they've read texts written by Greeks and Romans, and we can read laws and we can read records of priests. And all of that gives us quite a sort of a cold and formal view of religion. And so what we wanted to do was to try and explore what it felt like to be a Roman, to be somebody involved in these ceremonies. And so the route that we took in, the technique we used, is to think about the senses. Now, Romans, like us, have an engagement with their world which is partly mediated through what they see, through vision, through what they hear, through what they touch, through what they smell, through what they taste, through a sense of rhythm. And all of these things are involved in religious ceremonial. And that's true of all religious ceremonial, but perhaps particularly vividly true of some of the great ceremonies of the Roman state. So, for example, if you attended a Roman sacrifice, you would gather in a group, and in front of you there would be the priest, who would be dressed in brilliant white, a much more sparkling, cleaner clothes than most people have. So you would naturally pick him out. Your eye would pick him out in the crowd. And there would be a victim, maybe an oxen or a boar or a ram, a sheep, a cow, or some other kind of animal. And in the run up to this, you would hear singing and chanting. And so these would be familiar songs, familiar sounds. So you'd already think, now it's starting, now we're coming close to it. And then you would see the animal looked gorgeous, it'd been cleaned. Maybe if it's a cow or an ox, the horns would be plated in gold or something else. There'd be grooming beforehand, and then there'd be the ceremony and the action. Eventually a slave would come forward with an axe and would strike the animal, and you'd hear it call out and you'd maybe smell the blood. And so all of these sensory things would be part of the way you understood what was going on. And there are other rituals too, rituals that take place at night, and then suddenly a light shines out and a god appears. So Romans used these techniques in the same way that all religions today use them. Moments where everybody stands in silence, keeping their mouths shut. Moments where music breaks out of the darkness, or where your attention's attracted by a procession, by cymbals banging and by the stamping of feet. And so what we set out to achieve in this book was to try and evoke some of the experience of Roman religion. And we brought together a team of researchers from Spain and the United States, and from Britain and from France, from Israel, and from Italy, from Germany, and we found experts who are working on this. Some of them quite young, because it's a new field. So these are often researchers at the beginning of their career, and they've studied sensory psychology, cognitive psychology. Some have studied anthropology, or they've read the accounts that ethnographers have written of rituals. Some, of course, are trained in Latin and Greek, and there were archaeologists there who were trying to think how a particular object used, what they felt like, or they studied the movement of spices around the Roman world and from outside the Roman world, or thought about how different religions in different places had different sensory rhythms. We gathered in Madrid. The entire activity took place in the Universidad de Carlos III in Madrid, one of the major universities for religious studies in Madrid, where Jaime Alvarez is the professor, the catedrático. I was there as a visiting professor, sponsored by the Santander Bank. Alonso Nuño was there also as a participant, and we brought together our experts and some from Paris as well. And we spent 3 days talking about this, and people presented their ideas, and they were asked questions, and we raised objections and asked for more information. And then after that, they all went away and worked on their papers and wrote them, and then sent them in to us, and we edited and sent them to other experts. So producing a book like this is a project that takes 2 or 3 years and a lot of people working together. And it came out in this prestigious series. This is the book. It's produced in the Religions of the Greco-Roman World series by the Dutch publisher Brill. And it's in a series called Religions of the Ancient World. It's been going for many decades now. And it's any major library that studies Roman religion will have all these books in there. And so we're very pleased with the result. And it's very nice, too, to have a chance to talk about it now to you as a new audience, and to say a little bit about how it was done. What's going to happen next? Well, this book will be going out, copies to libraries, but it will also go to other experts who are not involved in the original project, and they will write reviews of it. And these reviews will be published in learned journals. And with luck, it will inspire people to do more research, because we think that we're only just beginning this exploration of the senses in Roman religion. And we hope that researchers who are already looking at a particular religion, a particular place, they're maybe looking at a site and thinking, how is this temple and forum and altar used? And they'll then be able to populate it with a sense of the experiences of people there. And we hope, too, that it will inspire new connections with other sciences, with cognitive psychology, with ethnography, with medieval and modern history. And we hope that experts in Jewish studies and early Christianity will also find something useful in what we've done. And so a book is a sort of it's the ending of one process of research, but ideally it's the beginning of a new one. So it's a book is sort of a temporary gathering together. This is what we think now, but it's also meant to start other things beyond that. So it was a very nice project to do, and it's the kind of project that could only really be done by a group of people who've got different experiences, different expertise, different knowledge, can bring them together and then go off in different directions. So it's a sign, I think, of the value of scientific collaboration in the humanities, in the social sciences, and also perhaps a sign of how Roman studies can gain from looking at what's being done elsewhere in archaeology and anthropology, in religious studies. And we hope that this kind of collaboration might also be an inspiration for other people who want to do interdisciplinary programs of this kind. And if they do, I hope they'll produce books which I'll be able to read as well and be inspired by them. So that in a very short time is a summary of something that took 2 or 3 years to do. But it's been great fun doing it. And I hope that some of you listening will have a chance to look at the book and see what you think of it too. Thank you. Obrigado.
Ok, Greg. Deixa eu me colocar do seu lado aqui. Okay. Eu que agradeço a sua disponibilidade. Muito obrigado. A gente volta a falar no futuro. Obrigado.
Obrigado, Deodata. It was fun. Take care. Bye-bye.